Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be for mostly my subscribers that has been around for quite some time. I just wanted to do a chit chat video for them to explain what has been going on with Thumper's health. Now Thumper is my mini Holland Lop rabbit and he is currently 7.5 years old. And there's been ups and downs with his health, and I've been going through so much right now lately, me and him, obviously. And I just wanted to do a little backstory up until right now on what's going on. So I did change into this agenda. This is just the checkered agenda that I got on Amazon, and it's from Soul Mama. I don't believe it's there on Amazon anymore because I did get this about, I would say, last year or the year before. And you can, check it out on Amazon. I will link it down below to see if it's still there. But I'm going to go and just do like a little tiny flip through at the end. Right now, I just wanted to show you my current, right now, this is just Thumper's binder that I use to take to the vets. And so I just wanted to do backstory, chit chat. If you're not interested in this video, if you're new, welcome. And if you just wanted to know what was going on, stay tuned. If not, you can exit out the video, or you can just scroll all the way towards the end of the video just to see my little flip through on this one. So, backstory on Thumper. I got Thumper as a gift on 2016, and I knew nothing about rabbits whatsoever. I've only owned family dogs and maybe one cat when I was little. Now, when I received Thumper, I knew nothing about rabbits. I quickly did some research, joined some groups, tried to get all the information that I could on how to take care of my rabbit. Up until I would say he was about 5 months, 5 months or 6 months old. I have finally taken him to a vet that I thought was an exotic vet, tech savvy, someone with some type of experience in exotic pets. And I looked online, I saw ratings, I've seen other people who have brought their exotic animals to this facility. So I thought, why not? It's close to the house. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So I brought Thumper there on, I forget what month. I do have it in the paperwork, for just a physical exam and, just to check him out since he was pretty much a baby. So that visit, once again, highly was recommended online on Google. Ratings was there. I made sure that and it was close to home. So I go there for the physical. He checked out. Everything was great. They just wanted some blood work and they suggested for him to be neutered. Now, at the time, I couldn't come up with the money for the neutering or the blood work. So they just did a regular exam, and I didn't get any pamphlets or brochures or a packet of how to take care of a rabbit and what to look for or anything like that. His weight was great. What else did they check for? They checked everything else, his breathing, everything was fine. And then I decided to follow up with them every month to do tail trimming. I meant to say nail trimming for his paws because Thumper was very skittish and he would not let me trim his nails. So I would go every month, and once again, I didn't think blood work and, you know, things like that was highly, how do you say, necessary, because everything that I was following online, I felt that, if you take great care of your rabbit, they can, live a great amount of time up until the age 5 or 6, where you would have to, definitely continue with the vet care and see, because they are older. So once again, I'm taking him there. And this place seemed like it was a great place. It had full staff. The doctor was knowledgeable. Now, I only met him once at that time for the exam. I only had this one lady who was very knowledgeable of rabbits, because she owns like 10 or 12 rabbits at the time. Um, but she was just a regular nurse. And so she was the one that was always trimming his nails. And not once have any one of them from that office uh, asked for another appointment or anything, as far as, hey, you should do some blood work, you should make an appointment for blood work, or hey, what's going on with an appointment to, if he needs neutering or stuff like that. Um, anything in that nature, because I didn't think it was, if someone's not checking up on you and saying, hey, this is important, or this and that and the third, um, I'm going to think that it's fine. Um, so, but yes, once again, I was a very new bunny mom. So I didn't know any better, even though I was still searching online, researching, and on these certain groups, and doing the best that I can, was giving him the best care up until, I would say, this one year, during COVID. I don't know. The lady was still there. I wasn't inside the office because, it was COVID, and you were able to just have them come and pick him up from the car just for the nail trimming. And then she weighed him and said he was overweight. At the time, that was April of, let's see, I don't want to flip pages over and show vet names or anything like that. So that's why I have some things crossed off or covered up. Okay, so that wasn't too far long. I think that was 2021. So 2021, she said he was overweight. Checked his, because she weighed him, and it was just for a regular nail trimming. So I'm like, okay. And then I looked online, tried to see how to, get him, stabled, not to make sure that he doesn't gain weight. And then I think I started doing my own nail trimmings for him right after, because um, taking him was a hassle at the moment. I was working, and it was stressing him out. It was stressing me out. So I was trying to do it at home, because I felt that it would probably be better for, a skittish rabbit. And then I would say, I think in 2022, I took him for another nail trim. That lady was no longer there. I went inside the office, and all of a sudden, it was like barely any staff. You had one person up front, and then we had the doctor that was there, and I had gotten a different vibe. After that, I took him on. After that, he was fine. And then up until August of 2023, that's when everything went downhill. August 2023, I took him back there, and I asked for a physical exam, because not only was for just a physical exam, but Thumper was not eating hay anymore. He would eat veggies, pellets, and he goes crazy for them. but he just stopped eating hay. He just couldn't eat hay, and hay he loves so much. So I knew something was wrong. I take him there on August. Oh, this was the date of when I took him to the nail trimming. That was the last time when I took him to the nail trimming was April 21st. April 21st, 2023. Then the physical exam was on August. Here, no, excuse me, scratch that. August was around the time when I noticed he stopped eating hay. But when I finally took him in for the exam was on September 22. And then from there, that's when he checked his nails. Did his nails trimming, checked his heart, checked his breathing. And then that's when he tells me that, Thumper has a heart murmur. And then he tells me that he also may have dental disease. So not only that I'm getting hit with, you know, one thing where I'm concerned about his eating, and he hits me with another information as far as his health as in heart murmur. So that right there alarmed me. And so I'm like, okay, what can we do to get him to start eating hay again? Let's, figure that out. So he does the nail trim and the physical. Then we schedule an appointment for the 28th for a dental trim and some x-rays. And then I'm doing everything as far as like out of pocket because I didn't know anything about pet insurance, especially here in New Jersey, as far as a rabbit or exotic for pet insurance. So here in New Jersey, I just learned that you can do nationwide for rabbits. And during this time, when I'm paying out of pocket, I had no knowledge of that. But when I did try to get him pet insurance, it was too late because they said he had pre-existing conditions. So, throwing it out there for you guys, if you're new pet owners, get pet insurance as soon as possible. Once you get this pet, find out if you can get pet insurance because when I tell you, it is exhausting and draining with all these vet bills. It can really put a dent into your mental health and your financial situation. So after September 28th, we did a dental trim and some x-rays. He then asked for another visit for chest x-rays because he was also concerned of his liver, kidneys, and so that was the x-rays for that was done with the dental trim. But then on October is when we did chest x-rays. And then after that, he when he did the chest x-rays, Thumper was fine as far as, the only concern was that he wasn't eating hay, and we find out, and it was because he has dental disease. And for a Holland Lop, the way they are bred, their face structures are easily to get dental diseases. So Thumper had a what was the word? Malocclusion. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. If you're knowledgeable of dental diseases on rabbit or a malconclusion, you should know what word I'm trying to say if I'm jacking it up. Once again, I was just learning about this. So after I did the September 28th visit, I have gotten Thumper back on track on, getting him back to eating hay, because even after the the teeth trimmed, he was still scared to eat hay because he must have been in so much pain um, from his back teeth. What is it? Back molar. They were too long, and I think he even, because of one that was so long, he lost a tooth. That's what the vet said. So I don't even know if he lost a tooth due to the dental disease or if he lost a tooth because of the vet. Who knows? So after that visit, we were getting him to eat hay. He was doing great. And then we had made an appointment for the next teeth trimming. But you can see on after the chest x-rays, I had to come back on November 1st because Thumper was laying out one day and his back foot was just straight out. And I noticed something on his back foot and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I pick him up, look at the bottom of his foot, and in the same area. Now, when I first took him to the physical exam on September 22nd, he had a nurse with him and they were doing the exam. They wanted to do blood work that at that time. So I forgot. I need to write down that we did blood work that day. So when they did blood work, they took him to the back, and I forgot to mention this. So while I was waiting, they took him to the back, and I hear some noise, and I'm like, why does it sound like I hear a buzzer? And I'm like, why does it sound like a shaver? So I hear a shaver in the background. He comes back to me with the rabbit, and they mentioned they had to shave a little bit on his ear and on his foot to get some blood work done. Now, later on, after months later and visiting a different vet and all this stuff, I've learned that should not. Now, I don't know if it was the vet who done the blood work or the nurse, and she wasn't very knowledgeable on how to take blood work on rabbits, but it seemed that they tried to take some blood work on his ear and then on his foot. And later on, I've learned that blood work should only be drawn on rabbits on their hind legs. And I guess you can try on the ear, but other vets don't suggest it, and a lot of people don't suggest it at all as well. So here I am on around October, November. I find this cyst. Look, it looks like a cyst. It looks very like pus, like areas with not pus, but it was bad. If I might insert some pictures here so that you guys can see. Yeah, it was looking really bad, and it was in the same area where they had took some blood work. And when I dropped him off for the chest x-rays, I'm thinking, well, he might have picked up something in that in that place. It wasn't cleaned, or however he was, because they asked for me to drop him off for the chest x-rays. So I've been with Thumper. He's been with me for, at the time when I took him, he was 7. He's 7.5 now. For almost 7 years, this has never happened to Thumper. And all of a sudden, he gets this infection on his foot. So it might have been that his foot was exposed to something in that area during that visit. So I take him back on November 1st to say, hey, this is what I found on his foot. What's going on? Do you guys have any, idea of what this is? How can we take care of it? And it seemed like he kept trying to brush it off, saying, hey, well, first he was trying to mention all the other health issues about Thumper. And then when I said, well, it looks like he got this thing on his foot out of nowhere, he's never had it with me all these years. And now he got this all of a sudden, like, what is this? What could it be? Like, how can we take care of this? And then he goes, well, um, we didn't really take blood work from there. He tried to dance around the situation and try to um, brush it off and jump to other topics, and wanted to do more exams and more tests for other things that has nothing to do with the foot that I'm trying to accomplish. Then as far as you can see, that we had another dental trim on the 6th. He said he was going to clean up the area, the wound, um, do something, check it out, see what it is, and go from there. Now, out of all those visits, I have spent from September 22nd to November 6th, out of pocket, I have already spent $1,324.42. And I'm saying out of pocket because I did not use a credit card. I strictly used it out of my bank. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to help Thumper be in the best shape that he can be and back to normal. Now, Thumper has been, during those visits, after the chest x-rays, even with this thing on his foot, Thumper has been jumping around, eating normally, just, being himself. But I wanted this thing on his foot gone because I did not know what it was. And I'm like, this needs to be taken care of. Now, here, after that, I said, I am not messing with this vet no more. I am not taking him back there. Because after this visit, after he checked this cyst, he said he cleaned it out and this and that and the third. He kept wanting other things done, which I understand because Thumper has a heart murmur that was later explained to me. But I'm also feeling like this place should have also taken responsibility for, hey, he picked this up. I should get some type of discount or something, or some type of help towards the next visit because he didn't have this problem before I brought him here. He only had a heart murmur and a dental disease. And he was also concerned about his liver being a little inflamed or stuff like that, but that was taken care of later on. But other than that, I'm like, what is going on? So I was too scared about this thing on his foot after that visit because then it looked worse to me. So I'll insert another picture here. After that, I got really concerned. Even after on the group of all the rabbit groups that I'm in, I was like asking for help, information, what is going on? What do you guys think this is? And sometimes it's not good to do that because you can get mixed information. Things might scare you, things like that. Then I decided to quickly find a different vet online. So I found another place that was only 15 minutes away from my home. And I wanted to make sure that they were taking in new patients. So I called the second vet, and once I explained everything to them, mind you, I'm exhausted from finance situation. I explained to them, this was recent. Can you guys be able to take care of this as soon as I bring them in? And the lady explained to me, the doctor is going to want to do an exam on him and, do her own assessment before, taking care of this thing on his foot. And at the time, I didn't know how this goes. This also goes for even us humans. If you go from one doctor to a different doctor, they're going to want to do their own evaluation on you before they proceed to other steps. At the time, I'm just, frustrated. And I'm like, well, right now, I'm a little concerned on how his foot is looking right now. I don't know what to do. So, as I'm explaining how this foot looks, they quickly tell me to go to this other vet. This that is an emergency vet. It's um, a vet hospital. So that is vet number 3. I go to this vet hospital. So vet number 2 hasn't even seen Thumper, but that is the actual vet that I kind of want to follow up with Thumper for later on visits. I decided this is where I'm going to go. It is highly recommended by a lot of people from this group that I am in. And they say they take their rabbits there, that the doctor is an exotic vet specialist. So I'm like, this is where I'm going to, go from here on out. So I'm just going to go to this other vet number 3. But it's a hospital as well. So I take him there on November 14th. And I don't know how things work there. So I take him there hoping that they can take care of it right then and there. What's going on? I waited there for 4 hours. 4 hours. And they tell me that they need to do a pathology test of like a biopsy or something, a sample of it, and, tell me what's going on, this and that. I believe that was the time where now I'm a school bus driver, so I had brought Thumper there early in the morning right after my first run. And I had to go back to work that afternoon. 4 hours I'm there, and they haven't, done anything with him except for taking the sample. So I tell them, okay, I have to go back to work. Are you guys going to do anything here with this foot? They basically tell me not until they get the results, but that can take like 2 hours. And I'm like, I've already been here for 4 hours. So is there any way that the doctor can just call me with the results? And if I need to bring him back, I'll bring him back. We'll go from there. She calls me with the results and then proceeds to tell me that he needs to be seen by the exotic vet that is going to be there at such and such date. I would need to make an appointment for him like in 2 weeks. Here I'm thinking, what is going on? I thought that's what I was coming here for. This is what it is. And apparently I was coming in as an ER visit. Thumper wasn't he wasn't an emergency for them. So that's why I waited so long, because they were, treating it as triage. They had other emergencies, this and that and the third, as it would be if you would go to a regular hospital for us humans. So I'm like frustrated. What is going on? Now I have to wait 2 weeks to see this vet doctor and find out what they can do about this foot. And then I'm going back and forth pondering, like, hold on. Now, do I need to pay another physical exam for this vet? Because of the way she said it, I'm like, it seems like it's another, like, you would go to another vet, a different vet. But I'm like, we've done this here. You've checked him out, you got paperwork from the first vet, because I told them about the first vet so that they can get his paperwork and all that. And now if I'm seeing this other doctor, she's not going to do anything on that date either. So I am so frustrated. I'm angry. I'm like, what is going on? First, I'm like, he also needs some type of medicine. He needs some type of medication for this foot. I only got some cream and antibiotics from the first vet about the foot thing. So I've just been giving him that, and that wasn't helping at all. So I called them back and I said, hey, when I see this doctor, is she going to do anything on that day? No, it's basically, just another exam, and then she'll go from there. I was so I was so furious. Like, I'm like, it's the first physical exam thing should have been done already from the ER visit. Aren't you guys, And they were like, well, the lady, she was just a emergency vet person, doctor, but she wasn't specialized in exotics or what have you. Oh my God, you guys, you don't understand how draining it was at that time. So I finally go, and I went on November 28th, saw the doctor, did the exam, explained everything, made sure they got all the information from the previous vet. And as it seems that they were more concerned about his heart murmur, and they were talking about other things because it seemed like the medication that this doctor had put on Thumper made him even more dehydrated. So basically, Thumper was getting sicker. So thankfully, I came here and we stopped that medication. So they wanted to do more on getting him healthy before they can worry about the foot. So at that time, me and my fiance was saying, well, hey, if they're not worried about the foot, then it's probably not that bad. They did say that when the test came, it was just basically like an abscess on his foot. It wasn't cancerous or anything in that nature. So I'm like, okay, fine. We'll follow up with this vet again on December 2nd. Did some more tests. They were definitely draining me, as far as I would say they were like fear mongering. Oh, you need to do this for your pets. You need to we got to do this test and do this test. And here I was like a fool. I didn't know any better. And I'm like, sure, yes, fine. And out of pocket already, with these people, I spent $1,668.68 doing all these blood work. And once again, we did blood work already from this vet, did blood work with this vet, and then they asked me to do blood work again within 2 weeks later. Me not knowing any better, I'm like, sure, fine. But people on the groups were saying they did not need to do another blood work. So they were basically just taking advantage of you. I'm so exhausted, and I didn't know anything. I was so oblivious to everything. Even with help, I needed help. I'm like, what's going on? There's no pet insurance that will be able to cover this. I finally speak to my sister on what she has been doing for her dogs, because she owns 4 dogs, boxers. And she told me about Care Credit, and thankfully that she told me about it. And I find thankfully that I even asked her and asked for help. So I applied for Care Credit because I just couldn't do it anymore. All right, so then they suggest to do penicillin injections that I had to do every 48 hours with Thumper. Now, that was they said it's more of an aggressive, type of antibiotics for Thumper, that would be able to minimize. They wanted to shrink the abscess on his foot. They kept calling it mass, so I don't know. Abscess, mass, whatever. They wanted to shrink it because he needed extra skin if they needed to do surgery on that. So doing the penicillin injection, which is Penji, on Thumper every 48 hours, it was hard for us. Me and my fiance, we make sure we do the injections. It's hard for us to watch, to give him the injections, because not only that he was severely dehydrated, it's hard to get these extra skin to get the injection in. So but we've been doing it. And then we schedule an appointment for the next dental trim. So, dental disease rabbits are going to need dental trim for if they have dental disease, depending on where the issue is, they're going to need it every 4 to 6 weeks, or or 8 weeks, or 10 weeks. But it's going to be something for almost their entire life, because unless it depends on each rabbit and what their issue is. So not only that I am going through this situation, but now I have to keep in mind that I'm going to have to keep doing these dental trims every certain amount of weeks. So we scheduled it for January 11, 2024. 2024. They wanted a CAT scan and an ultrasound. So we do dental trim, CAT scan, ultrasound, $1567 with care credit. And then after that, I said, I'm going to need to do, I felt like that was too much already. And they kept wanting more tests and tests. So I talked to vet number 2. And I set up an appointment because I wanted to do an aftercare with them, to continue with dental care with them, because I felt that it would be much more cheaper with them rather than to continue to do this at the hospital. And I was so tired of waiting at the hospital for X amount of hours. Once again, that visit, when I took him there, when I dropped him off there, that was just a drop off. But when I took him for the follow up on December 2nd, after the first exam, I waited there for 3 hours. I'm like, I'm not going to keep coming here and have to wait for the 3 to 4 hours every visit. So finally saw the second vet. I went back to the second vet, explained everything, got all the paperwork from the first vet, got all the paperwork from the hospital. Saw the vet, that was $260, and that was just basically her just checking him out. Crazy, right? So care credit, and then we made another appointment on March 25th for the dental trim. We did the dropped off dental trim. She wanted an x-ray on the foot. Now, I went to the hospital and they wanted all this and that, but never asked for an x-ray for his foot, for the main thing that I went there for, right? So keep that in mind. So I went with this vet. They wanted an x-ray on the foot. I'm like, thank goodness someone went back to worrying about this thing on his foot. So we did that, paid $512 with care credit. Then we scheduled another appointment for April 8th for the next dental trim. No, what was April 8th for? Hold on. My mistake. April 8th was the dental trim and x-ray on the foot. The physical exam, that was the first initial visit with them, was on March 25th. Okay. Then we did the next dental trim because she said she checked out his teeth and said he only needs 8 weeks. So I didn't need to come back until 8 weeks later, which was June 3rd. Took him there for the next dental trim, which was $242. Okay. And then we scheduled a plan because she told me the information about the foot. She looked at the x-rays and said, okay, great news. It's not attached to the bone, the mass. So I can do this surgery because it has shrunk significantly from the Penji injections. So I'm like, oh, we're finally near to the end, right? Thank goodness. Thumper's been himself. He's been absolutely amazing, living his best life, until out of nowhere, we got a really bad scare. Thumper just was huddled up in a corner somewhere and he would not move. He did not want to eat. He didn't want to drink, not even want his favorite treats. This I've never seen. Even when he had the thing on his foot, I've never seen him act like that. Or I've never seen him act like that when the first time I brought him to the first vet because he stopped eating hay. He was not acting like this. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope it's not GI stasis. GI stasis is something with the gut. If they're like this is a real emergency. You have to bring him in. I bring him to, I first called vet number 2 and say, hey, this is what's going on. But they don't do emergencies. And my vet was at the time doing a surgery on another. She was booked up for that day, so she could not see him anyway. They suggested for me to go to this ER hospital again, go back there, and then follow up with us and let us know what's going on. Have them send all the information back to us. I rushed him. It's hard to talk about this. I'm sorry. But before rushing him to the ER, I wanted to quickly grab some gas drops. We didn't have any gas drops at home. So I go quickly to CVS while my fiance was getting ready. But as he was getting ready, he took notice on Thumper that he was limping on his hind leg, on one of his hind legs. And he calls me right away while I'm at CVS and says, I don't think it has to do with his gut because he's limping, you know, he's limping on this one leg like as if something's hurting him. So I quickly rushed home, still got the gas drops just in case, rushed home, and I was going to give him the gas drops, and we flipped him over, and I see that one of his testicles was so enlarged, it was so swollen. So we were thinking that's why he's limping on that leg, because it's so painful that he doesn't, want to put any pressure or anything on it. So I'm like, okay, I don't think it's GI stasis. So we still rushed him to this hospital. We rushed him there, and um, they, they wanted to know, okay, how we should take care of this. Do you think it's GI stasis or, this and that? Where we explained the leg thing, the limping, and we said we took a picture of his testicles. We even told them, they took care of us right away, which was great. We didn't have to wait hours and hours. And so they needed to do some tests on it and see what was going on. They get back to us and they think that he needs to stay overnight because he's not eating or drinking at all. So I'm like, okay, I didn't fight them on that. He needed to stay overnight. So I'm like, okay. And then they said they'll get back to me and let us know, because they were concerned that it could be a testicular, what is the word, testicular torsion, I think it is. And they weren't sure if it was that, because then it would show signs of it if it was. But however, they did let me know whatever it could be, it needed to be removed. He needed to get neutered or castration. So I'm like, okay, fine. If that's what it is, you know. And so the ER visit there was overnight with no surgery for $1,230. They wanted to keep him for the second night, but I told them, look, I can't. I don't even think I have enough in my care credit limit to do that. I needed to take him home because second day she said he was doing a lot better. He was nibbling on some lettuce, and so I was like, I would do the continuation of the care at home, with critical care, keep an eye on him. And that was the next day was the last day of school, of work. So I was able to be home with him at all times. And then, so they really wanted to keep him. I said I couldn't. I needed to take him home. I knew by then, if she said that he was eating and he was up and hopping around, so I knew that Thumper was being Thumper. So I was going to take him home. and they wanted to know if I was going to do the emergency castration with them. And I said, no, I'm going to follow up with his actual vet. So I booked an appointment with his actual vet, with vet number two. The test, the test that they did at the hospital, what was the test? It was an ultrasound. They only did an ultrasound on it. And you believe after the ultrasound, they said that it was inconclusive. They don't know whether, this and that didn't even make sense. I was so over it. That's why I was like, I'm just going to go back and make an appointment with his actual vet. So that Monday, that when I discharged him at that hospital was a Thursday night. He came home and we had an appointment on Monday with his vet for the surgery. And I was thankful for that because he did great. He was doing amazing with them. They did the surgery, said Thumper was the best boy. They went over everything that he needed to, I needed to do at home. So right now he's doing amazing on his surgery site, and they did his histopathology test. Sorry. And we're just waiting for those results to see if, if because they do think it was a tumor, and see if it has been spread anywhere else. But she said that she seems to have gotten it all when she did the surgery. It was a little tough surgery, but she did it and said that she got in everything. So hopefully, fingers crossed, prayers that it did not spread anywhere else. And, this would be not the last thing, because we still got to do the surgery for their foot. We are going to see them on July 8th for a recheck because she wanted to see him in 2 weeks. And I'm going to ask her, do we need to push the surgery date for the foot because he already did this type of surgery, and will it be too much all at once for him? My poor baby. So I am trying to get to the end of this whole madness, but I am really hoping that this tumor thing did not spread anywhere else and he will be fine. This is just a list of all the medication that he's in. So I just have regular notes paper here. I don't want to flip too much because he has all this paperwork from all these vets all here. So it is pretty thick. And this is just a little pocket that I got from Dollar Tree. And here I just have a pen, a notepad, sticky notes, and all of the receipts from his previous vets. So that's what I have in this pocket. And this is as thick. You can see all this. This is all the paperwork and results that I made sure I grabbed from all the vets. So I hope you guys got all of the backstory, and I hope I was able to explain everything to the best that I could. But yeah, so hopefully after this, he would only get the foot surgery and do well on that. Mind you, he is a heart murmur patient, so it is scary every time he is doing any type of. Now, when he goes to the hospital, the anesthesia that they do is they do it where they put him to sleep through IV. And I do not like how he reacts after that, because it's hard to get him back to normal. But when they do it at the vet, they do like this mask get gas situation, and he's amazing after a couple of hours in their care. And when I take him home, he's being Thumper. So I just jumped all of my information from my Louis Vuitton agenda, and I just moved it to this agenda here. And this is what I'm currently using for the month. I didn't really put much in here except for just the date. And right now we're in July, so I only have the calendar. I said date, but I meant calendar. So that's all I have for right now, and some note paper, because I haven't been doing anything in my planners, to be honest. I have been in such depression mode because everything has been it's just been too much for me. And I've been doing the best that I can to get back into doing videos and get back to doing everything that I need to do, get back to life. So I hope you guys can just bear with me until the next video. It would be a what's in my bag video on my Shein tote bag. So stay tuned until the next one. Bye, guys.